Welcome everyone to this quickie live with two of my friends, Marja and Maja.
Hello.
And we're going to dive into when the symphony surprised me. And the Symphony of Possibilities is this energetic modality developed by Dr. Dane here. It's part of the whole world of access consciousness. And it's a modality that all three of us facilitate and all three of us have received sessions in. So it may be that it surprised us in the receiving part or that it surprised us in the gifting part. And, you know, um, I would say it didn't really, it's like a modality that got developed within the last 15 years or something. So it also didn't really exist before. So in itself, it's surprising. It's like, it's surprising by its very existence that something so empowering is around that we get to play with. So I am my first surprise with the symphony is that I get to play with these energies in the world. It's like that I am allowed to contribute and receive from these energies, and that I am somehow empowered to be the one facilitating it in the world. So that's like one of my, it's like every time I tap into that, I have this sense of awe. Wow. And then one of the second things that surprised me, just to get this conversation going, is that it never feels the way I think it will feel. When I watch sessions like this, I always thought it would feel a certain way. And I had all kinds of connotations and ways that, decisions, conclusions, judgment about what it would feel like to be on the table and receive a session like this. And it doesn't at all. It's something completely different. And that happens every time I'm on the table. It's different every time, but it's never what I think it is. And that is part of its magic, because I can't presume. I can't presume what it's going to give me. I can't presume what I'm going to tap into, what I'm going to experience, what I'm going to learn. It's so different. So it does surprise me every time. So that part for me is really like one of the core parts of the symphony, that it is so surprising that it doesn't follow any rules or regulations or structures or definitions. It is something so truly unique that I can't, which I can with so many other things, cognitize it. So with that, that's like a beginning. And what, if you look at that, like when you've received session, Maria and Maja, what has it been like for you? And what would you say has been surprising about that? Who wants to start?
Who starts?
Who starts?
You can go, Maja. You can go.
Okay. So, what surprised me about symphony was the space of it. It was a space I have never truly perceived before. It was so different because for a long time I was looking for a sensation, for something I could identify, describe, or understand. And I realized that in doing that, I was actually limiting my own awareness, because before I met Access Consciousness, I didn't know that what is an awareness about. So with Symphony, for the first time, I became aware of a space I could not
Right.
logically grasp. So for me, it opened the door to the unknown, and it became a beautiful companion in letting go out of control, because I I was controlling everything. I still do, but you cannot control symphony. You cannot control uh, receiving symphony and being the energy of symphony. So it was really, it is every day a really great companion in letting go out of control. And
Yeah.
it, for me, it, everything is in it, because when we start to control our awareness, our life, it is from here, not from the space and energy and awareness and knowing, which we have inside, which we are exactly.
Yeah.
And
It's even like the knowing we have access to from everywhere. Because when we stop controlling, we
yeah,
we actually become more the infinite being we are. So we get to access this infinite knowing that exists not just within, but like in the bigger. Yeah. And I love what you're saying with the, it's really like tapping into the mystery. And the mystery has to be surprising because that's what makes it the mystery, you know? So yes, that was beautiful.
yeah,
Ma-
yeah. It is something I realized with the symphony for the first time.
mm, mm. Maya, do you want to add something to that?
Yeah, thank you so much, ladies, both of you, for opening up this. Because in the beginning, I was like, "Huh, what was surprising for me?" And as you were talking, Katerina, and then Maya, it started to open up the all the spaces and all the memories and everything that actually was that happened to me and for
Mm,
me for with the symphony. And the first thing that basically really surprised me was the way that the symphony brings out you as a being, then and you that you never thought actually existed, that actually was there.
mm,
Because for me, what really surprised me was I was watching people doing sessions, and and I was all in awe. Wow, people are doing the sessions, are being all these like everything is happening, and I thought it was supposed to be this serious thing, the profound thing. And what happened for me was like I burst out laughing. I was like laughing my ass off, and there was this space of joy and of freedom and of I never thought that was in me, that was part of me. This is who I was. This is
mm,
that this was even possible. And it was like you said, Maya, it's not, you cannot control the symphony and you cannot control being, and that's what the symphony brought out. Like it just overrid my it overrid, I hope that's how you say
overrode.
it, but
Yeah.
overrode, yeah, overrode basically my control, the way
Mm,
I thought I had to be or do or present myself in receiving the session. And then it also was interesting because when I was gifting the session, that space was there as well. And from then on, every time, like I had access to that every time and all the time, and it's just growing, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and more magnificent.
And I love also this, like you both mentioned this out of control. And I really like from the very first session, which was an ESP session, it's a slightly different energy and it's still it's similar work. And I remember also being surprised by my own intensity because so much of
Mm.
my life I had been turning myself down. I had like I was always too much in all kinds of ways. Like there it's so many different ways I was too much. So in this session, since it was so undefined, it didn't have any structures or rules or regulation. It wasn't controllable or cognitizable. I was able to be all of what I was being. And that what I was being, like you were saying, Maya, was so surprising to me. Like what I am is still surprising to me because what I think I am is just not what I am. So it still surprises me, and I'm still finding more things that I can choose to be like, but and I have to choose them. It's not like a session, it's a co-creation every session, and that's also surprising. So you think, like, we've learned that if you receive a session, you're receiving it like from someone, you are the receiver and the facilitator is like the one gifting to you. And for me, the more sessions I receive, the more sessions I facilitate, the clearer it becomes it's a co-creation between the person receiving and gifting. And there's a simultaneity of gifting and receiving that really is creating the change, where the willingness to receive, the willingness to choose, the willingness to change by both the facilitator and the receiver is what opens up like all these mysterious universes of possibilities. So, and that is also like where it's not about fixing or helping. It's like a co-creation of exploring. And I wanted to mention this other thing that really surprised me when I started to facilitate sessions is that it's so different again than what I thought it was. Because like Maya said, Maria, the names are very similar. Like Maria said, I watch people give sessions and you watch them and try to get what they do from the doing. And once I started to facilitate, I slowly, we all have our things, but slowly realized it was so much more or all about what I was being and being. And I remember doing a session or facilitating a session on this woman in a class where she was laying on her stomach, so I didn't see her face per se. So I was working on kind of like the backside of her, and she was completely still during the whole session. She hardly breathed. Like it was like this completely still. And I didn't, I kept like asking questions and kept moving, and changing and doing whatever. And you never know. Like you never know. And she sat up after the session and she said, I've never ever known who I am, and now I do. And you're like, wow,
Hmm.
that happened. That opened up. And that really from being, not from doing, from being something that then invites the person on the table to be something. So that was so surprising to me, how little doing has to do with this and how much being is what this is all about.
Yeah, because you can only be with it and receive what it is opening. It is so different because there is no definition, no form of that. We
Mm,
can watch other facilitators, we can watch other practitioners of symphony, watching what Maria said, what they are doing. But suddenly it happens that there is no definition when you
mm,
start to moving with this energy, receiving and gifting simultaneously, what you said, Katarina. It is every every time it opens something different, and there is no the same sessions
yeah,
ever, never. And
Yeah.
there this is so amazing when we are out of control with when we don't think about
yeah,
what to do, we just let we can only be with that. And when we let ourselves to be with that, this is so amazing that and surprise every time it's surprise different way.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
why I
totally.
like the symphony.
Yeah. And like you said, Maya, right now, I remembered also how when you are the gifter and the person receiving just receives and follows, and then you are there for you just be there with them,
Mm,
and then it invites you, they invite you, their being and the symphony invites you for you to be more as well, step up. And if there's something that you're not willing to do for or be for yourself, you
mm,
actually get invited to walk that path together with the person on the table, and you be that for them and for yourself, and you be that together. And that's the invitation for me as well. It's so beautiful when you are invited. The person that is gifting is also receiving so much while gifting,
Mm.
and it's a beautiful gift.
And it's also surprising. One more thing before we end. It's also surprising, I find, how we learn to facilitate the symphony. Because what I notice is, yes, there are words that we use in the classes. And you both facilitate introducing the symphony classes, which is a taster class. I facilitate one-day classes, opening of the symphony. And in those classes, yes, there's a workbook there, we talk about things. And the main way for me that we learn is we learn through being the symphony. It's like it's kind of like we learn through our bodies and beings that goes beyond the cognitive, and it's kind of like being within the symphony somehow that shows us how to be the symphony. So that's also why these classes are so, the classes themselves creates how you learn. It's like it's not possible to study symphony in a book. You actually have to be with the symphony to learn the symphony. And that's become clearer and clearer the more classes I facilitate. The last one I facilitated was just like a week ago. And I remember I was in the castle in Italy and I'm walking down the stairs, and in my head, I just hear, trust the symphony,
Mhm.
trust the energy of the symphony to show the magic that this is. And it did.
Yeah,
So that's for me
don't
is,
plans, don't
yeah,
don't plan anything. Don't think about the words you used during the class. The
yeah,
simply facilitate. This is the class which, for me, facilitate also me like a
yes,
facilitator.
every
it,
time.
Yeah.
it is so surprising.
Mm.
Yeah. And even like, even we're not, even when we started talking about the symphony, we became this became present here, and it was palpable. It's not, you don't even have to talk about it, and it's here. You can feel it, you can perceive it.
Yeah, yeah. And it's here right now. And now also it's going like, okay, now I'm just moving. I don't need you to tell me how surprising I am anymore. I'm just like going and vibrating. Yeah, that's so we actually have an invitation for anyone who's listening to this, and thank you for coming on. It's lovely to have like people on live, and we are jumping into a few classes in Europe, and we have one coming up on Thursday in Warsaw, Poland, and Maya and I will both be there. I'll be facilitating an opening of the symphony class, and Maya will also be there, and you know, kind of like playing with the facilitation in that class. And then we have Dane here coming to Ljubljana, Slovenia.
Ljubljana.
Yeah,
Yes.
and
Yay.
doing the Symphony of Possibilities training. And Maria will be there. I think Maya will be there too. And again, being the symphony. And then we even have a quite new class called the Symphony Immersion, which is a class where if you've taken the SOP, you can go even deeper. And Anthony Mattis is facilitating that class, and you can just go for a whole day of practicing symphony sessions. So there's a lot of symphony possibilities coming up in Europe, and there are introducing the symphony classes going on all the time with symphony advanced practitioners all over. So you can also look for them. And what if what if you just choose to come to one of those, like one of the 2 hour classes as a start, and just come and be in this energy and see what it says to you, like what it bees with you, and experience that.
And just receive that space which we have inside, but we don't don't get.
Everyone has it
if,
inside,
if,
yes.
if if we are
Yeah.
still thinking and looking for some things, we don't receive it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's such a good
And
pointing that out. I just want to say that's such a good, because everybody has access to the symphony. So it's really like you you kind of like release the space of the symphony from wherever we contracted around it. Sorry, Maria,
Yeah,
what were you saying?
yeah, it's that's the beauty, because also in the beginning classes, the open the intros to the symphony, where people don't really know that much about symphony yet, and they're just
Mm,
like dipping their little toes in the symphony universe. But there's this beauty that I've been witnessed as a facilitator, where people that think, oh yeah, I'm totally, I don't know energy, or I'm not good at this, I don't even know if I'm gonna be like, if I'm gonna be like, I'm just gonna receive, I'm not gonna be doing anything. And then when they get to be the gifter, and they have this awe.
yeah.
Wow, I created this. Wow, this is available. This is amazing. I did this. I was with, like, and
Mm,
with the feedback, with the person that is receiving, and it's just so empowering. That is
mm.
really, really such a surprising thing that also
Yes.
happens, but I love to see.
Yeah. It's one of the most surprising and also one of the most amazing parts of the symphony is how truly empowering it is for our being or our beings. So yeah. Yeah. So don't come and play. That would be bad. Don't do it. Don't come and join us.
Don't
And
come, because you probably will want more of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you both. And I look forward to seeing you
Thank you
soon.
so much.
Bye everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.